Hey everybody, welcome to the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast. My name is Robert Reams, the host and the producer of the show, and as always, I'm here to inform and inspire you, to educate you, and to motivate you so that you can take this information, put it to work in your lives, share it with your loved ones and your families. I've come a long way to have this opportunity to sit in front of you today. Let's go. Hey everybody, welcome to the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast. My name is Robert Reams, and thanks again for tuning in. I think this is a really important episode, as all of the episodes that I do here on RR Live Wellness Unfiltered, but I think this is really important because we live in a world of stress. And talk about stress in business, stress in family, stress in life, stress. We live in a world of stress. So what is it? How do we deal with it? And some of my experience working with really high level people who manage stress, by the way, masterfully. Part of because what we do together in our work together, but part of it because these folks have just mastered the capability of managing stress. And I think this is something that as we go through the course of life here on this earth, the way things are in the world right now, this is a technique and something that you really want to have. How do we deal with stress? Stress in our society, how do we deal with it? What is it? Where is it? Where does it come from? Why is it? This is what we're going to talk about today. So Trent's going to join me. Trent is the leader here, the man, the heartbeat of Spread the Positive here and to you from. And listen, once again, I'm grateful to Trent and I'm grateful to Terry, Nashville Fit Network, for the opportunity to sit here. Yeah. This has been really great. We've aired some shows. People are loving them. It's getting great response. And I encourage you all to share these shows with your friends because my mission is it's not just sets and reps here. This is much deeper than this. Whole health, body, mind, and spirit from the inside out. That's why I'm doing these shows. So today we're going to talk about stress. Now, first of all, I want to reintroduce something I've talked about in virtually every episode I've done here at Spread the Positive Studios and the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast. I talk about the model, the base model that I work from. Now, I call this the RR Big Four of life. I didn't reinvent the wheel on this, but boy, did I put these aspects of our life together. These are aspects of all of our lives, and they work independently and synergistically to really determine our health outcomes, perspective, body, mind, and spirit, like I said, working from the inside out. Number one is optimum exercise, physical fitness. Physical fitness. We are born to move. We are born for locomotion. We are not meant to sit around. Number two is optimum nutrition, what we put in our bodies. Food, drink, substance, whatever it is. This is key. This is what makes us operate. Optimum nutrition. Proper rest. I've already done a show that aired a few months back, or a few weeks back, with Dr. Bajoy John, a 25-year doctor sleep specialist in Brentwood, California. We did a whole episode, and I encourage you, even though some people don't want to deal with the fact that you do need to sleep for optimum health and to feel great, look great, and be awesome about you, you need your sleep. So review that show if you haven't seen it already. And number four, the fourth aspect, what we're going to talk about today, which is largely a culmination of the first three aspects of the Big Four, stress management. Now let's talk about stress first and kind of the definition of stress. We all have stuff that goes on in our lives, and it really has to do with our reaction or our perspective or our take on certain events, people in our lives that take place. Now, this is the fact. We need stress in our life. Believe it or not, stress is really good for you. Stress is awesome. What I'm talking about mostly when I talk about good stress and really good stress that challenges us and moves us to the next level is acute stress. Stress that comes on as a result of something that's happening right now. Now, acute stress, if a lion all of a sudden jumps through that door and starts to attack me and Trent here in the Spread the Positive studios, trust me, I want my stress mechanism to be on point. Now I'm going to repeat that. If a lion or a tiger or an elephant runs through that door here at Spread the Positive studios and is looking to attack me and Trent here, I want my stress mechanism, my acute stress mechanism, to be on point right now. I want to be able to deal with that. But the problem lies in the fact that many of us out there not only have that acute stress response, but we have what I call and what is known as chronic stress. We are always looking for the bear. We are always running from the tiger. We are always running from the lion. And when you have that, and some people have it 24/7, some people never get to turn it off. And today I want to give you some insight on this, and you may not even be aware of it. You may have gotten turned on to this particular episode of the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast because you thought, well, maybe you may have gotten this from a friend or a family member that you have an issue with stress, and they wanted you to listen to this show and watch this show to get some insight and maybe to get some help and to get some perspective on this. Because the first thing that we have to be able to do to be able to handle any issue in our life is to be aware of it. If you're not aware of it, then if you're not aware of it, you're not able to pinpoint it, what the issue is, and B, then how to deal with it. Where can I go? What can I do to handle this? Now, I've worked with high-level executives for almost the entire time that I've done this work that I do. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a nutritionist. I'm a wellness coach. I've trained sports specific over the years. I train golfers. I train people for weight loss. I've done just massive amounts of weight loss work. As you know, I'm in my 23rd season as I speak right now with Dr. Phil and Dr. Phil Primetime. I'm the one that led all of the weight loss challenges for Dr. Phil. We put weight loss challenges on the map, the largest weight loss challenges in daytime TV history. I led those along with the great staff with Dr. Phil and, of course, Dr. Phil. And I'm sitting here today once again because of the opportunity that he and Robin gave me. So again, I'm grateful. But this thing about stress management is huge. And one of the reasons that I put that Big Four model together and put stress management and not only put stress management in the Big Four, but as number 4 is kind of the culmination of it, because those first 3 aspects of the Big Four of life, the RR Big Four of life, really determine how well and manifest how well and whether or not you even have this level of stress that you have to deal with. Stress management is the result of something else in your life, and stress and high cortisol. So here we are. We're at the Spread the Positive studios. I came down here today and it was raining like crazy. I mean, I could barely see coming down the road here. We come down to 840 from Franklin, Tennessee. And I was a little stressed out. I had to breathe. I had to relax. I had to gather myself. I'm thinking, okay, it's raining here. This is not the first rainstorm in Tennessee. It won't be the last. Right, Trent? No. It's like, these are the kind of things that come up. Stress management, you have to be able to do it. You have to have the tools. But back to what I was talking about with the high-level people that I've worked with over the years, I've worked with a lot of people for a lot of years. People come to me and they stay with me 5, 10, 12, 15, 20, 25, 30 years even, because they get these kind of results from the RR Big Four of life. They not only learn how to control their weight and work out and eat right, but this is all about making your life better. And if you can handle stress, your life's going to be better. The reason that these folks handle stress well, and I'm talking about executives like network executives. You have to remember, I spent 37 years of my life, that's over half of my life, in LA. Very high pressure situation, high level situation. LA is a stressful place. It's a big city. There's lots of freeways. There's lots of people. The air's not so good. There's some great things about LA, but it's also a very, very stressful place. It's not where people go to relax. Let's put it that way. So when I'm working with these high level folks in LA, again, network heads, union heads, big executives, big accountants that handle big people in Hollywood, venture capitalists, big money people and big pressure people that a lot of people go to, and they're responsible for a lot of people making a living underneath them. These are high pressure situations. All of these folks thrive. Like I said, I've worked with some of these people 15, 20, 25, 30 years. The reason they thrive is because of one thing. And if you get nothing else out of this today, the most important thing that you can learn from this podcast today is self-care. Optimum self-care. You have to work on taking care of you. If you don't take care of you, you're no good. You're useless to everybody else around you. Your family, the people that work with you, the people that work for you, and the people that you work for. You have got to hone in on your self-care. I'm going to be doing a corporate wellness program. I have a corporate wellness company that I do. And by the way, get a hold of me if you have a company or if you have a group of people that you want, because I've done corporate wellness for years. And one of the first things that I do when I sit down or I give a presentation to the company and to the employees in a particular corporation or group, I talk about that one thing. I pull up the screen and I look at that and it just says Optimum self-care. Self-care. If you don't have that, forget it. You're going to be running on fumes and you will burn out. You won't last. I've seen it. The high level people that I'm talking about are people that know how to manage stress. They know how to manage life. Managing life and managing stress are two of the same things. So how do they do it? Number one, they exercise. We are born for physical activity, physical movement, physical activity, lifting, bending, stretching, climbing. When you see high-level executives, male and female, that have been thriving for years and being heads of companies, they're not 400 pounds. They're not overweight. They're not stressed out of their mind. They don't come in and just are wired for sound. They are calm. They move. They bend. They stretch. They do yoga. They're able to handle the physical aspect of stress because they take exercise seriously. They do it consistently, and they put reasonable and appropriate stress on their body so that they can manage stress in their lives. If you're not moving, bending, stretching, climbing, running, doing cardiovascular work, keeping your muscular system strong and powerful, if you are not working from the inside out like that, and when I talk about the inside out, you got to be motivated from the inside out to take care of that physical outside, the ability to move, the ability to take that stress and handle it and move through it. That comes, a lot of that comes from physical strength, the ability for you to take the physical aspect of stress. So exercise, cardiovascular work, stretching, lifting, calming work, strength training, high intensity work, low intensity work, consistency of all these things. Now, I have a book, Anti-Diet, that is out now. It culminates a lot of my years of work. It's got all this information in it. I've got an app called the Revive and Sustain Wellness app. I have a fantastic team. Once again, we do corporate wellness. We do these apps. You can download this app as an individual, or you can use it as a baseline for your corporation, for your corporate wellness program. It provides a foundation. You're going to learn all this stuff. But the number one thing that you have to do is you have to be physically strong. When you're physically strong and able to handle the forces and the stresses around you, because again, stress is physical. It will manifest itself physically within you. It will tear you up from the inside out unless you can handle it. Now, I'm going to talk about perspective here when I talk about that too, because perspective, once again, as you heard me say before on this show, is about how we see ourselves, how we see the world around us, and how we see ourselves within that world. And perspective is, and stress is like a situation comes up that is potentially stressful or is stressful. And it may be something that comes out of the blue right now, or something that's boiling up and you know what's coming. You have got to be able to physically be able to anticipate that, deal with that, and have an action plan for it. So the physical aspect of this is really, really important. Trent, what do you think about that so far?
Man, yeah, I can relate to everything you said.
Mm-hmm.
Spot on.
Yeah, it's really, you have to have the physical strength in inner and outer.
Yep.
For stress management. Number two, listen, if you're feeding your body crap and ultra processed food, forget it. You're not going to be able to handle stress as well as you could. Because again, coming from the inside out, what we eat, the fuel, food, drink, substance, medications, vitamins, whatever we put in our system, our entire nutrition program. When we talk about Optimum nutrition, I talk about working again from the inside out. What you eat, that's what you are. And again, I work from something called the plate structure system. It is my signature plate structure system. I've developed it. It works. It has a proven track record of being absolutely 100% effective if you do it. And it's not just for weight loss and weight control. It's about, again, body, mind, and spirit working from the inside out. Trent, since you've been working with me, you've learned a lot about the plate structure system, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And does it work for you?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's Optimum nutrition. And I don't count calories because, busy people out there, if you're listening to this and you're running a company of 400 people, you don't have time to sit down and go to a restaurant and pull out your calculator or bring your scale out of your briefcase and weigh your food. We don't do that. The plate structure system is a visual system. And it's basically taking a 10.5-inch diameter plate, which is the plate that we pull out of our cupboards, or a plate that you go to a party or an event that you pull off the table there, or it's a plate that you go to a restaurant, and that's what we work off of. I just teach you how to optimally fill it. That's it. It's that simple. We don't need to overcomplicate this. The diet industry and all these GLP-1 shots and all that bullshit, they want to overcomplicate it for you. It's not that complicated. Check out my plate structure system. Learn it. You can learn it in my book. You can learn it on my app. You can learn it by getting a hold of my team. You can learn it by a corporate wellness program for you and your company. Learn this system. It's super simple. It's super effective. Like I said, 100% track record. And believe me, the fuel that you put in your system is the quality of fuel that will be able to allow you to handle and or not handle these situations in your life, in your work, in your relationships, and overall stress management. You want to optimize stress management with the fuel that you put in your system. Number 3, proper rest. Nobody wants to deal with that one. Again, I'm talking about Dr. Bajoy John, the show that we did here early on at my experience here with Spread the Positive. Bring it up, listen to it. You have got to deal with sleep health. Sleep is your superpower. But a lot of you out there, especially folks listening to this today that are really, really high-level folks, I want to direct you back to what I said a few minutes ago about the high-level people that I've worked with. and I've worked with for years that, again, have worked with me for 10, 15, 12, 15, 20, 25, even 30 years. How do they do it? They optimize the big four and they get their rest. Now, you're not going to get this beautiful night's sleep every night. Stuff's going to come up in life. Shit happens. And we all know that. And this is how you learn to deal with this stuff, by honing in on the big four. Being able to rest. If you are rested, guess what? Your fuse is longer. If you are tired, if you are burnt out, your fuse is short. You don't even have a fuse. And your reactions are going to be much different and much less optimal, and maybe some kind of a reaction that you don't even want because you are not rested. You have to get your rest. And review that show for a lot of detail on this, but you want to get those 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. You want to get to bed within those circadian rhythms. We're talking about 10 p.m. or earlier and getting up around 6 a.m. You've got to work in and around those circadian rhythms. I got news for you, folks. If you're getting to bed at 12, 1, 2 in the morning and you expect to run on Optimum, ain't happening. It's not going to happen. Game over. It's not going to happen. You have got to have great sleep health. You get your non-REM sleep, what Dr. Bujoy calls the sweet sleep, before your actual REM rest. You get that early. That's the reason you go to bed 9 and 10 o'clock. Now, again, it's not going to happen every night, but the beautiful thing about sleep, this is proven in the research, that you can actually make up sleep. So if you have a really tough week in business or in life, and you get to bed super, super late, maybe you get to bed Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you're not getting to bed till 2 a.m. in the morning. You can then go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and get to bed earlier, maybe an hour earlier each time, and you can make up for that sleep. You can actually make up for lost sleep. And again, I don't want people to be scared of naps. People think like if you nap, you're weak, or if you nap, you're lazy. That's bullshit. I've been napping for, I can't even remember how long. Ever since I've been doing physical fitness. I've been in this 42 years. I love naps. Trent, do you love naps?
I love naps.
Oh my God. If you're not napping, you're missing out. Let me tell you, you think you're mighty, mighty, mighty. You want to be mighty? Get your naps in.
Love it.
Because, yeah, they're game changers. But listen, again, I'm going to drive that point home because, again, all these executives, these folks that I have worked with over the years, they may have not started getting their rest when I met them, but boy, after they started working with me, they got their rest. And the people that work with me right now, they thrive because they get their rest. And the ones that don't get their rest, hey, they're simply not thriving at the level that they could be. It's that simple. And then, of course, number 4, stress management. So I want to bring up a couple nuances of stress that that really affect our lives. And the first one I want to talk about is addictions. Now, addictions, there are lots of different addictions. Why does somebody get addicted to something? Because whatever that addiction is usually helps them to deal with stress. Right, Trent?
Yep.
Yeah, you see.
Good.
Yeah, you know folks out there that are like, they're addicted to alcohol. They're addicted to drugs. They're addicted to pain medications. They're addicted to, they may be addicted to caffeine, or they may be addicted to sex. They may be addicted to gambling, or they may be addicted to competition. They may be addicted to these things because what they do is they raise serotonin. They jack that dopamine. They're rushes. And they're things that people go to that maybe are not optimum. They're not end game modalities, but they're temporary. But eventually, the bottom falls out. So if you're dealing with addictions out there, I'm not an addiction specialist, but based on what I've viewed for 42 years as I sit here doing this kind of work, I see what addictions do to people. And I see that many, many people over the years have dealt with their stress through addictions. And eventually you got to get help with that. So the other reason, it's not the only reason, but the other reason people go to addictions sometimes is because they don't feel that whatever gas they have left in that tank for that particular issue they're dealing with, they don't feel they have enough gas in the tank, mentally or physically. So they need that to cope. And I could go on about addictions, and eventually on this podcast, I'm going to have on an addiction specialist, because this is something that most people in their lives at some point have to deal with it. You get addicted to TV. You may be addicted to podcasts. Now, Trent and me, we want you to be addicted to this podcast, and Trent wants you to be addicted to all the podcasts on Spread the Positive. But seriously, you may be addicted to things out there that are not so good. Maybe the podcast is not really servicing you, but the things that are here at Spread the Positive are all very, very positive. And the information that I'm giving you out there is really positive. But I'm talking about things like addicted to Netflix till 2 in the morning. I'm talking about addicted to being on YouTube till 2, 3 in the morning and just kind of wasting your time and biding your time and staying up just because you feel in the moment that that's what you need to do, but you wake up exhausted and you are not on your game the next day. And when you're talking about the big four of life, remember what I said, they work synergistically and independently. So if you're not resting, you're not going to be physically active like you should be and you can be. You're going to crave shitty food. You're going to not get your sleep. You're going to be stressed out. So these things all work again synergistically. So if you have any of these addictions, you probably, most people right now, because most people are, we're addicted to our cell phone. How many times you look at that thing during the day? How many times do you look at that thing before you go to bed? One of the things that you can optimize your sleep and stress management on is put that dang thing away an hour before you go to bed. I know that's hard, especially for those of you out there that are leading companies and leading groups and you have a ton of responsibility. If you can and when you can, put that thing away, because I promise you, you'll run at a more optimum level if you can master that art. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, that again, I'm not going to elaborate too long on this, but I want to talk about anxiety. I've done some videos about anxiety. I think anxiety, and this is again based on 42 years of experience, and this is based on, I'm going to be 66 years old this year. I know that's kind of hard to believe, but I am. I've got a lot of life experience. And I've been around a lot of people in professionally and personally through my life. I got a lot of life experience. I grew up in Elkhart, Indiana, the mobile home RV capital of the world. I then went to Ball State University. I then lived in LA for 37 years. Once again, you think that's not stressful? Big time stress out there. And now I live here in Middle Tennessee. I've got a lot of experience. And I'm here to tell you, I will pledge to you that I have anxiety, and I'm grateful for it. I am grateful for my anxiety because my anxiety pushes me to the next level. I think the card has been overplayed by putting somebody on medication just because they have anxiety. I think people, when they identify, I have anxiety, they get this self-label. I talk about inner dialogue. And when I talk about what you tell yourself is what you are. So if you walk around all day and you label yourself, I have anxiety, and there's this negative component to it, that's not going to take you very far. You may get anxious about certain situations. That's what stress is. You have those cortisol rushes. Again, you have those acute cortisol rushes where like, oh my God, a problem comes right. I gotta solve it right now. Tiger comes through the door. I gotta solve it right now. Oh my God, I just got this phone call. We're gonna lose this funding in an hour if I don't take care of this. I just got a call. My kid had an accident at school. I got to get in the car and jump down there and take care of him, get my kid to the hospital. Your ability to deal with all this, this generates anxiety. Life generates anxiety. Life generates anxiety. That's just the way it is. But use your anxiety to hone in and motivate you and make you better be able to handle and be aware of how to solve a given issue in your life. Because some of the most successful people I know have this anxiety. It drives them to the next level. And when you have anxiety, guess what? That means you care. When you have anxiety, that means you give a shit. If I see somebody that doesn't get anxious or get a little bit amped or stressed out about something, I see somebody that doesn't really care. I see somebody that's just kind of flowing through life. Anxiety. That's my take on it. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I don't have to be a doctor to analyze what I've seen out there. Again, for 42 years, working with a lot of people. Again, when I work with a personal client, I've been in the room by myself with high-level people for 45 minutes to 60 minutes at a time, a lot. You're talking about, I don't even know how many, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. I see some amazing things. I see some pretty incredible things. I see some things that are alarming sometimes. I get to know these folks. Everybody that I've worked with, everybody, and I'm not bullshitting you here, everybody that I've worked with thrives because they all do the work. If they don't do the work, they usually don't end up working with me for very long. The folks that I have here today in Middle Tennessee are all thriving. They're better. They can handle their stress more optimally, more efficiently, and better because of the work we do. Again, it goes back to that big four: optimum exercise, physical fitness, optimum nutrition. What do you put in your body? What fuel do you put in your body? Optimum rest and recovery. Recovery. Because what goes up must come down. Balance. It's another key thing about stress management is balance. And then, like I said, the fourth aspect of it is the stress management part of this is what we're talking about today. Now, these are the modalities of how you optimally handle stress. Find something that you like, physically active. Be physically active. It's something that you like, you're good at, or that you dislike the least. It's that simple. That may be hiking. That may be lifting. I'm going to really focus in and recommend that you lift weights and you do high intensity cardio work, because those things will help you, again, body, mind, spirit, working from the inside out. Those things will help you manage stress and make you metabolically healthy. The bottom line of all this is being metabolically healthy. Folks, issues that come up in our life, mental and physical, are going to be more optimally handled and more efficiently handled and managed if you are metabolically healthy. So much disease, mental, physical, once again, the base bottom line of it is poor metabolic health. The big four of life will help you metabolically to be at the top of your game, which will again help you body, mind, and spirit, and help your perspectives and how you see given situations and how you then handle them. Now, I talked about anxiety. I'm also going to talk about depression. This is another kind of thing that I think many people and the medical community has really blown this up about depression. People are depressed. Well, do you just walk around? Are you depression? Do you identify as your identity about depression? Or do you get depressed about certain things? Now, I want to make this very clear. Do not take any of this advice over your physicians, your psychiatrist, your therapist, or your medical doctor. But I'll tell you another thing. I'll let you in on something. I have depression genetics in my family. I don't have depression. However, if I did not practice what I preach and practice what I teach, I would have depression. There are multiple pieces of bona fide real research that you can Google right now. There'll be a whole list on your Google about how physical activity, eating right, getting rest, and managing your stress will help you manage your depression. And quite possibly help you to get off those psychiatric drugs that you're on or that you may have been recommended to take. I'm just telling you like it is. Like I said, do not take this advice or what I'm talking about right now over what your physician has recommended for you, or your psychiatrist or your therapist or whatever. But what you can do is you can start to put things into your life that I podcast and that I write about in my books and that I have on my apps and that I've taught to many high-level clients, like I said, for many years. Try putting this to work and see then how you manage your stress. I can assure you, without any hesitation at all, that you will be able to handle your stress, your depression, your anxiety, whatever issues you have out there, better if you follow what I'm talking about. What do you think about that, Trent?
No, I think it's great. It's hitting home for sure. Definitely hitting home. And yeah, I think I just echo everything you're saying. It's not always the easiest stuff to do, but it's the most necessary stuff to do, and you got to do it. So you're absolutely right.
Right. Because so much, I mean, think about what the definition of stress is. You know, it is a rush of cortisol. That's your stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. Once again, you need that stress. You need that stress mechanism in order to balance certain situations and to be able to handle certain situations. We need that acute stress mechanism in order to be able to optimally handle things in life. But what we don't need is this chronic cortisol, this chronic stress, this chronic adrenaline level that's coming through, because eventually what happens at the highest level of adrenal burnout is then you don't have any cortisol left and you're just running on fumes. So get a hold of this if you can. Do the things that I'm talking about here. Get a therapist. Get a coach. Do some things to help you from the inside out, body, mind, and spirit, so that your perspective, and like I said, the definition of stress is how we see a given situation. What is your perspective on a given situation? The people that can handle stress the best are resilient. They are calm when they need to be. They stop, they breathe, they take a look at the situation, and then they react to it. And this is how you best manage stress. Now, breathing is something that most people don't think about it, because meditation and breathing, you know, it sounds hocus pocus. It sounds voodoo-y, ooh la la, whatever, but it works. And if you can find some time throughout your day to meditate and to just come back into self and find your purpose. The other thing too is when we get stressed out, especially things that we deem are out of our control, and I'm talking about mostly business things and how we react, and maybe relationships and things that come up in our lives that maybe make us a little uncomfortable, we immediately start to look at these things kind of in a negative, kind of a fearful way. That's perspective. When you work from the body, mind, and spirit and from the inside out, and you put the big four to work in your life, remember I talked about it helps us in our health, our metabolic health, inside and out. but it also helps us with our perspectives and the eyes that we see from. How do we see a given situation? How do we see some jerk that comes into our life and tries to disrupt it? How do we see some event that comes in, whether we know it's coming or whether we don't know it's coming, it surprises us out of the blue? How are we able to gather our perspective on that and handle it in an optimal way that is going to move us forward and put us in control of a given situation and not put us out of control and in a fearful whirlwind, because that's what a lot of stress management is out there. We get scared, we get overwhelmed, and we just, wow, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Well, you can handle it if you step back and breathe. And I'm going to give you this technique today. It's super simple. And like I said, put the other things to work together in your life chronically, all the time. The big four is an ebb and a flow of life. It's a flow. It's a consistency. It's not just one day. It's not just 1 hour. It's not just one workout. It's not just one meal. And it's not just one good night's sleep. It is a through line of commitment, what I call, of consistency in how you operate your life every single day and how you see situations and people around you. So I learned this technique years ago. Dr. Andrew Weil, I don't know if you know this guy. He's still around. I was a big fan of his in the 80s and the 90s. He is a Harvard-trained physician that's just an amazing guy that's got just some amazing abilities and has taught so many people some great life and life techniques. And this is a breathing technique that I went to 2 seminars, live seminars, and I read like 5 of his books back in the 80s and the 90s. And I actually got, at one point, there was this situation in LA where they had guest speakers come in and you could, pay a certain amount of money. You could go hear these folks live. And I went to a couple of events with Dr. Weil. And I actually got to go. There was this, usually at the end of it, they'd have this line where you could go up onto the microphone and you could ask Dr. Weil a question live there in real time. And it was really cool. But his stuff is still out there. He's still going, and he's got some amazing insight on all this kind of stuff. But this is a breathing technique, and Trent's going to join me on this. It's very, very simple. All you do is you sit up nice and tall, or you stand up nice and tall, and get in optimum posture, because that's another thing I talk about in these corporate wellness programs. One of the first things I introduce is optimum posture. I work with my people all the time. Optimum posture. You have got to sit up and stand up nice and tall in order for you to function optimally. Stand up nice and tall, and I want you to do these 3 things. Excuse me. These 3 things. And by the way, I told Trent I was going to say this before the podcast. Some people are not going to be, they're not going to, they may not take this right. But I will tell you, in working with high-level people over the years, there have been many people. It's really good timing that actually came up just now. I don't know how many times people have let out a big belch during one of our sessions. And I know it's crude. It's not something you're going to want to, do on a first date or on your job interview. But I will tell you this, that it does relieve gas and tension in your gastrointestinal system. And any doctor's going to tell you that. If you need to belch, don't hold it in too long. And if you're training with me, you belch. If you're in your car or wherever, or with people that you're comfortable with, let it out. Because if you don't let it out, that's boiling inside of you. So anyway, there you have it, Trent.
well,
that's
great delivery.
Yeah,
that worked.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, and I was kind of forgot about it there, but then I thought, one came up, and I just let it rip.
It felt better.
But yeah, now I feel better. I'm managing my stress right now.
There you go.
But anyway, that is a great stress relief technique. Let it out. I'm not kidding you, because listen, if that's in you and you have to make that sort of physical noise, that's laying inside you. If it's not coming outside you, it's better outside you than inside you. So that's something I will always encourage. Number one, my wife is just going to probably press pause and move forward with that particular section of the podcast, but that's okay. She knows, she knows me. But the other thing is this breathing technique from Dr. Weil. So Trent, we're going to do this really quick, and this is how we'll close the show. This technique is, all you do is you sit up nice and tall and you breathe in for 4 seconds for a 4 count. You hold for a 7 count, and you exhale with an 8 count. So basically what you're doing is you are exhaling twice as long as you inhale. So let's try this, Trent.
All right.
And everybody watching, sit up nice and tall, whether you're listening or you're watching, try this because it works. We're going to do it 3 times. And this will help you relieve stress. I can promise you this, that your stress won't increase. It will actually help it decrease, but it definitely won't make it increase. It will either keep you on a maintenance level or it will actually help you to cut the edge here. Let's go, Trent. So 1, 2, 3, we're going to inhale for a 4 count. Hold for a 7 count. And exhale for an 8 count. Really let it out on that exhale because that's something we don't do naturally. You really have to push out. But again, that stuff that you're holding in that you got to push out. Let's try it again. Inhale for a 4 count. Hold for a 7 count. And exhale for an 8 count. And really don't be afraid to really push out on that, Trent, and everybody listening. Push out on that that exhale, because again, if you can do that, that means you're holding that in. Again, better out of you than in you. Let's try it one more time. Inhale for a 4 count. Here we go. Hold for a 7 count. And exhale on an 8 count.
It's good stuff.
Awesome. Now, Trent, how do you feel
I feel
after
better.
that? I know, right?
Better. That's great.
I do too.
That's great.
I'm like ready to do another show.
I needed to do that for sure.
Yeah. So, and I see how simple that is.
Yeah.
But it's something, again, that you can put to work. And I do this with people all the time. And I do it in group presentations. I do it in individual presentations. And it clearly does work. And you can do this throughout the course of your day. I mean, how long did that take us, Trent? 2 minutes?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. 3 to 4 times. Inhale for a 4 count. Hold it for a 7 count. Exhale for an 8 count. And let it rip. Let it out. Inhale in. Hold it strong and let it out strong. And I promise you, you're going to feel better. So just a quick review. The big 4 of life, the big 4 of life. Optimum exercise, optimum nutrition, proper rest, and stress management. These aspects of our life are part of all of our lives. They work independently and synergistically to help us not only manage our weight, manage our health, optimize our health, but they help our perspectives and the eyes that we see from. They literally determine our perspectives and the eyes we see from. Again, how we see ourselves, how we see the world, and how we see ourselves in that world. That, in essence, what optimum stress management is. To be able to see a situation or be in a given situation or event or be around an individual or whatever it is in your life. How do we optimize it? How do we see it? How do we move forward to make the best of that given situation? That, in essence, is stress management. Now, I want to tell you, first of all, this is my new book, Anti-Diet. The Paradigm is Shifted. Now, a lot of years went into this book. It's a culmination. There's success stories in here. I talk about the big four of life. I talk about the plate structure system. I talk about things like significant events and people in your life and how they have formed your perspectives and how they have taught you how to manage stress. I talk about body image, self-esteem, which is also a big part of how we manage stress. How do we feel about ourselves? All this and more is in this book. And there's about 50 or 60 recipes from Chef Andy that are all based on the plate structure system. This is a great book. The reviews are coming in. They're amazing. It's getting great response. And I encourage you to go to Amazon and order it. Order it for yourselves. Order it for your group. Order it for your friends and family. Because this is 42 years of work in this book. Not all 42 years, but a good portion of it. And it works. The proof is in the pudding, folks. Anti-diet, the paradigm has shifted. Also, my corporate wellness company and my app, the Revive and Sustain Wellness app. That is the base of my corporate wellness company. That is an app that you can also go and you can download, www.reviveandsustain.com. Myself and my team, we have a great app, and this material, the stuff that's in this app, it's proof. The proof is in the pudding. Once again, it works. Anti-diet, the Revive and Sustain Wellness app. You know how to, if you need to reach me individually, I'm easy to reach these days. The RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast. I want to thank you all again for tuning in. Take care of yourselves out there. Take care of you so that you can best take care of those around you that are dependent on you. This is really important life stuff. You put this work together, folks, you're going to live a long, healthy, happy, and vibrant life. Once again, body, mind, and spirit from the inside out. I appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, God bless everybody. Hey, everybody, thanks again for tuning in to the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the show. And don't forget the Revive and Sustain Wellness app. Go to www.reviveandsustain.com and download the app. 42 years of my experience at your fingertips. Till next time, everybody, in great health.